The silver halls of the Galactic Council chamber stretched into shadows, where 1,000 species had gathered to discuss matters of cosmic importance. Ambassador Krelthax of the Andorian Empire stood at the central podium, his crystalline exoskeleton clicking as he moved. The holographic display behind him showed a blue planet orbiting a yellow star. "Distinguished members," Krelthax began, his translator rendering his words into 1,000 languages simultaneously. "I bring troubling news from the Outer Rim. We have discovered a species that requires immediate attention." The massive chamber buzzed with interest. New species discoveries were always noteworthy, but rarely warranted emergency sessions. The hologram zoomed in, showing continents covered in lights and the telltale signatures of industrial civilization. They call themselves humans, and their world is designated as Earth. At first glance, they appear to be another pre-warp species following the standard evolutionary path. However, our xenobiologists have detected something unusual in their genetic structure. Krelthax paused, letting the gravity of his words sink in. Unlike every other sapient species in recorded history, humans retain predatory characteristics despite achieving civilization. Their bodies are built for hunting, their minds programmed for competition, and their societies structured around conflict. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Velothi delegate, a being of flowing liquid form, rose to speak. "Surely you exaggerate, Krelthax. Every species has violent tendencies in their primitive stages. Civilization tempers such impulses." "That is precisely what concerns us," the Andorian ambassador replied. "With humans, the opposite appears to be true. They have channeled their predatory instincts into technological advancement. In less than a century, they progressed from basic flight to splitting the atom. They have turned their entire planet into a battlefield of ideologies, yet somehow avoided self-destruction." Light years away from the Council's debate, Captain Jake Peterson stood on the bridge of the Aurora, humanity's first deep space exploration vessel. The ship had been searching for signs of extraterrestrial life for 3 months, finding nothing but empty space and distant stars. "Captain," called out his science officer, Dr. Rachel Bennett, "we're picking up something unusual. It's a ship." Peterson's heart raced. First contact, the moment humanity had dreamed about for centuries. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered, then caught himself. They came in peace. "Belay that. Open hailing frequencies." The alien vessel appeared on their view screen, sleek, organic-looking, nothing like the angular designs humans had imagined. It dwarfed the Aurora, easily 10 times its size. "This is Captain Jake Peterson of the United Earth ship Aurora. We come in peace," a voice responded, clear and measured through the ship's translators. "Greetings, beings of Earth. I am Zelenar of the Velothi Mercantile Fleet. We have been monitoring your system's broadcasts. We come to offer you guidance." Peterson exchanged excited glances with his crew. This was it. First contact. The moment that would change humanity forever. "We welcome your guidance, Zelenar. We have much to learn." "Indeed you do," the Velothi trader responded. There was something in the tone that made the humans uneasy. "Your species has developed faster than anticipated. We offer you a choice. Accept our isolation protocols and develop peacefully within your own system, or face quarantine by the greater galactic community." The bridge fell silent. "I'm sorry," Peterson said carefully. "Did you just tell us to stay home?" "For the safety of all species, including your own, yes. Your kind is unique in ways that concern the galactic community. We have observed your history, your wars, your treatment of your own planet. You are simply not ready for the responsibilities of galactic citizenship." Peterson felt anger rising, but kept his voice steady. "With all due respect, Zelenar, that's not your decision to make. Humanity has earned its place among the stars through determination and ingenuity." "Determination and ingenuity," Zelenar repeated, almost sadly. "Those same qualities that nearly destroyed your world multiple times. You do not understand what you are asking for, beings of Earth. Accept our warning as the gift it is intended to be." The Velothi ship disengaged and vanished in a flash of light, leaving the Aurora alone in the void. Back on Earth, In the Oval Office of the President of the United States, Richard Hammond listened carefully as Dr. Bennett explained the quantum linguistic patterns they had decoded from the Velothi transmission. Sir, they're not just warning us to stay in our solar system. They're preparing for us. Everything about that transmission suggests they see us as a threat they need to contain. Hammond leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. So they think they get to decide humanity's future? Mr. President, we should consider their perspective. They've been traveling the stars for centuries, maybe millennia. If they're concerned, let them be. Hammond interrupted. Admiral Walsh, how quickly can we mobilize our fleet? Admiral Kevin Walsh, a grizzled veteran of the asteroid mining conflicts, straightened in his chair. The shipyards have been working overtime since the Aurora launched. We can have 20 battle-ready vessels deployed within 6 months. Make it 3 months, Hammond ordered. And, Dr. Bennett, I want every piece of data from that Velothi encounter analyzed. Learn everything you can about their technology, their society, their weaknesses. Sir, I'm not sure that's... Doctor, Hammond said firmly, humanity has never accepted limitations imposed by others. We split the atom, we landed on the moon, we built orbital habitats. We didn't do any of that by listening to people who told us it couldn't be done. The galaxy can either accept us as equals or learn to fear us as enemies. The choice is theirs. Peterson returned to Earth a week later to a hero's welcome. The media called him the father of humanity's space age, the first man to meet aliens. But in private, he reviewed Dr. Bennett's analysis of the quantum linguistic patterns with growing unease. Jake, Rachel said one evening as they reviewed the data in her lab, there's something else in these patterns, a subtext. They're not just warning us, they're preparing other species for our arrival. They're building a coalition. A coalition against us? Think about it. We spent our entire history fighting each other. Every civilization on Earth rose through conquest. Even our space program was born from military missiles. To them, we're exactly what we've always been to each other, predators. Peterson stared at the alien symbols on the screen. For the first time since the encounter, doubt crept into his mind. What if they're right? Right or wrong doesn't matter now, Rachel replied. We can't go back. This planet has 7 billion people who now know we're not alone. They'll demand answers, access, exploration. The moment you fired up the Aurora's engines, you opened Pandora's box. That night, as Peterson looked up at the stars from his apartment balcony, he wondered if humanity was about to embark on its greatest adventure or stumble into its greatest mistake. Somewhere out there, the Velothi were reporting back to their council, and the galaxy was preparing for humanity's arrival. In deep space, the Velothi merchant ship transmitted its final report. The humans have rejected our warning. They proceed with aggressive expansion. May the ancients have mercy on us all. The die was cast. Earth's destiny now lay among the stars, whether the galaxy was ready for humanity or not. 3 months had passed since the Aurora's first contact. Earth's shipyards worked without rest, building vessels that mixed human ingenuity with limited understanding of alien technology. The United Earth Fleet grew from concept to reality, 20 warships ready for the unknown. The Velothi Council convened aboard their flagship, a massive vessel that had witnessed the birth and death of civilizations. Selenar stood before his peers, his fluid form rippling with concern. The humans ignore our warnings. Their ships gather beyond Mars. They arm themselves and probe the edges of their system, he reported. Elder Vexen, the Council's oldest member, shifted in his containment field. We offered them mercy. They chose defiance. Implement the quarantine protocol. Construct the containment barrier. Massive ships appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system, deploying crystalline structures that formed an energy field. It hummed. With power, invisible to human eyes but capable of stopping any ship trying to break through. On the frontier, Earth's scout ship, Commander Sarah Martinez, studied the readings with growing alarm. Captain Anderson, we've got a problem. Something's formed a barrier around our system. Luke Anderson floated over to her station, pulling himself along the ship's zero-gravity corridor. Show me. The holographic display revealed energy patterns encircling their solar system. It's like a fence, Sarah explained. Nothing coming in or going out without their permission. Test it, Anderson ordered. Fire a probe at the barrier. The probe launched, accelerating until it hit the invisible wall. It stopped instantly. Its forward momentum converted to heat and light. The energy flare temporarily blinded their sensors. Send a message back to Earth, Anderson commanded. Tell them we've found their quarantine. As the frontier approached the barrier, a crystalline structure appeared on their screens. It pulsed with soft light, different from the containment field. Sarah recognized communication patterns. Captain, it's broadcasting on multiple frequencies. I think it's trying to talk to us. Anderson pulled up the ship's translator. Seconds later, a voice filled their bridge. Humans of Earth, this is your final warning. Turn back now. This quarantine exists for the preservation of all galactic life. Your species cannot be allowed to spread unchecked. We offer you isolation or extinction. Choose wisely. The crew exchanged glances. Anderson's jaw tightened. Record. This is Commander Luke Anderson of the UES Frontier. We are citizens of Earth, a sovereign world. No alien power can imprison us in our own system. Withdraw your quarantine immediately. Silence. Then, you have chosen poorly. The beacon brightened, energy weapons emerging from its crystalline structure. Warning klaxons blared throughout the frontier. Evasive maneuvers, Sarah shouted, hands flying over her controls. The scout ship spun away as energy blasts scored its shields. Return fire, Anderson commanded. All weapons. The frontier's missile tubes opened. Plasma warheads, humanity's latest weapons, streaked toward the beacon. The first impacts shattered its outer layer. The structure tried to adapt, growing new crystalline armor, but human weapons were designed for continuous adaptation. After 10 minutes of fierce combat, the beacon exploded in a burst of light. Debris scattered across space, some pieces containing data cores that the Frontier's crew eagerly retrieved. We did it, Sarah breathed, relieved but shaken. We actually won. Scan for more hostiles, Anderson ordered. And prepare a full report. For Earth Command. Include everything we've learned about their weapons and defenses. On Earth, General Nathan Brooks paced the war room as reports flooded in. The quarantine existed. The aliens had fired first. Humanity had struck back and won. Sir, an aide interrupted. Dr. Williams from the Mars colony requests immediate communication. Says it's urgent. Dr. Peter Williams appeared on the screen, dirt-stained and excited. General Brooks, we've found something. The archaeological team uncovered a facility beneath Olympus Mons. It's ancient, millions of years old, but the computer cores are intact. What kind of facility? Williams ran a hand through his gray hair. A monitoring station. Whoever built this, General, they were watching Earth. The data files go back 200,000 years. They documented every major event in human history. Why would they do that? According to these records, Earth was once part of a galactic civilization, but our species showed unusual characteristics, unprecedented adaptability, rapid technological development. Most importantly, we retained our predatory nature despite achieving higher consciousness. Brooks leaned closer to the screen. Explain. Other species evolved past their predatory stage before developing technology. Humans are unique. We weaponized our predatory instincts. This facility was established to study us, maybe even to protect the galaxy from us if we ever reached the stars. My God, Brooks whispered. They've been afraid of us all along. Meanwhile, the Velothi were discovering their own unsettling truth. The recovered beacon's sensors had analyzed the Frontier's weapons and tactics during the brief battle. Zelenar presented the findings to his council, his form quivering with concern. They adapt mid-combat. Their ships learned our weapon patterns and adjusted their shields accordingly. When we increased power, they changed frequencies. Every tactic we employed, they countered within minutes. Impossible, Elder Vexine declared. No species thinks that quickly in combat. Yet they do, Zelenar replied. Their reflexes, their decision-making speed. It's unlike anything we've encountered. They fight as if war is their natural state. On Earth, the population erupted in celebration. Humanity had faced alien aggression and won. Ships paraded through orbit, displaying the debris recovered from the alien beacon. News networks proclaimed humanity's superiority over galactic powers. In London, peace activist Senator Lisa Thompson watched the celebrations with growing dread. She spoke to crowds about caution, about diplomacy, about learning before acting. Few listened. They provoked us. Protesters shouted at her rallies. We defended ourselves. But did we try to understand them first? Lisa challenged. Did we consider why they might fear us? Fighter pilot Jack Harvey, newly returned from combat training, stood at the back of one such rally. He'd been selected for humanity's elite space combat program. Lisa's words stirred something in him, doubt mixed with patriotic fervor. After the rally, he approached her. Senator Thompson, I respect your position, but you weren't out there. When that beacon fired on the frontier, it wasn't opening a dialogue. It was trying to destroy a human ship. And what will happen when Earth sends warships to probe further? Lisa countered. How many will die because we're too proud to consider their warnings? Jack thought of his training, the endless simulations of space combat, the excitement of being humanity's first space warriors. Maybe they need to understand us better too, he said finally. Maybe they need to see what humanity can do when pushed. As debates raged on Earth, General Brooks mobilized the fleet. 20 warships gathered near the edge of the solar system, including the flagship Terran Pride under Captain Elizabeth Morgan. They prepared to test the quarantine further, to send a message that humanity would not be contained. Aboard the Velothi flagship, emergency meetings continued without rest. Long-range sensors detected the human fleet's movements. The quarantine protocol had failed to intimidate them. Instead, it had provoked them. Deploy the patrol fleet, Elder Vexen ordered reluctantly. We must show strength. Perhaps they will. Reconsider when faced with superior numbers. 30 Velothi ships appeared at the quarantine boundary. Each vessel was 3 times the size of humanity's largest warship. Their shields shimmered with energy that had protected their species for countless generations. But as the two fleets faced each other across the void, neither side understood the other's capabilities. The Velothi saw primitive vessels crewed by savage predators. Earth's commanders saw obstacles to their expansion, challenges to be overcome. The standoff continued for hours. Finally, Captain Morgan received orders from Earth Command. Proceed. With caution. Test their response to non-aggressive maneuvers. The Terran Pride began a slow approach toward the quarantine line. As it drew closer, the lead Velothi ship broadcast a warning. Halt immediately. You are in violation of quarantine protocols. Turn back or face the consequences. Morgan reduced speed but continued forward. This is Captain Elizabeth Morgan. We're conducting peaceful maneuvers in our own space. You have no authority here. You leave us no choice. The Velothi ship's weapons powered up, visible even through the void. On the Terran Pride, crew members tensed at their stations. Morgan calculated the distance, the alien weapon signatures, the response time if hostilities began. Remind all. Ships, she ordered. Weapons tight unless fired upon. Let's see who blinks first. Light seconds separated the fleets. Seconds that would determine whether humanity's journey to the stars would begin with diplomacy or war. The standoff shattered like glass. A junior weapons officer aboard a Velothi escort mistook the Terran Pride's scanner pulse for weapon lock. Energy beams lanced across space. The quarantine was no longer a line of diplomacy. It became a battleground. Captain Elizabeth Morgan watched the first impacts hit her shields. All ships return fire, evasive pattern Delta. Her fingers gripped the command console as the bridge shuddered under impact. 20 Earth warships scrambled into combat formation. Colonel Ryan Clark commanded the human tactical response from the command ship. Weapons free. Focus fire on their lead vessels. Show them they picked the wrong species to cage. His combat experience from the Pacific conflict kicked in, though space warfare was nothing like his memories of fighting rebels. The battle expanded rapidly. Human ships, smaller and faster, darted between Velothi vessels like wolves attacking a herd. Plasma. Torpedoes found weak points in alien shields. Kinetic rounds punched through crystalline armor. Earth's captains discovered their ships could withstand more damage than expected. Dr. Rachel Bennett monitored the battle from her lab on Earth. Quantum communication feeds showed her real-time combat data. "My God," she whispered. "Look at their reaction times." On the massive display, human fighters pulled maneuvers that defied standard physics equations. They used gravity wells to slingshot around large Velothi ships. They fired through their own detonations to blind enemy sensors. Every tactic showed the brutal creativity of predatory minds adapted for war. The Velothi were unprepared. Their weapons, designed for deterrence between civilized species, struggled against human evasion patterns. Their shields, built for single, large impacts, overloaded under sustained kinetic bombardment. Fighter pilot Jack Harvey flew his modified shuttle alongside the Terran Pride. His squadron used hit-and-run tactics, targeting sensor arrays and weapon mounts. "Lead wing, this is Harvey. These ships can't track us at close range. Get inside their shield perimeter." 6 fighters dove between Velothi vessels. The aliens hesitated, afraid to fire and risk hitting their own ships. Humans exploited this mercy without hesitation. Back at the Galactic Council, emergency alarms blared. Thenix of the Kryn Republic stormed into the chamber, his 4 arms gesturing wildly. "The humans have broken containment. They're destroying the Velothi patrol fleet." Krelthax accessed the battle feed. His crystalline form clicked with anxiety as he watched human ships maneuver. "This shouldn't be possible. The Velothi have maintained peace for 3,000 cycles. They're experienced tacticians. Experienced in fighting other civilized species," Thenix corrected. "The humans fight as if death is their preferred outcome. They literally fly ships into enemy hulls to exploit structural weaknesses." A message from the besieged Velothi fleet finally arrived. "Request immediate assistance. Human forces display unprecedented combat capability. We cannot maintain the quarantine. Estimated total fleet loss within 2 hours." The council erupted into chaos. Species that had avoided conflict for millennia now faced a crisis they couldn't comprehend. A primitive species had not just challenged but was actively defeating one of their established powers. "Deploy the coalition force," Thenix commanded. "Kryn ships will reinforce the Velothi. We cannot allow this precedent. If humans break the quarantine system, they teach other restless species that our order can be defied." 300 Kryn Republic warships materialized at the battle's edge. Each vessel outmassed the largest human craft by a factor of 10. Their arrival should have ended the conflict immediately. It didn't. Admiral Kevin Walsh coordinated Earth's response from the Apollo station. "Reinforcements incoming. Apply Vietnam tactics." The old warrior grinned at the confused looks of younger officers. "Hit and run. Make them fight in an environment they don't understand." Human ships scattered like leaves before wind. They used the local asteroid field as cover, leveraging smaller size and superior maneuverability. Kryn vessels, designed for open space warfare, struggled to track targets among dense rock fields. On Earth, protests against the war grew. Senator Lisa Thompson led marches outside the Pentagon. "We're not defending ourselves anymore," she shouted into news cameras. "We've become the aggressors. These aliens came in peace, warned us, and now we slaughter them for sport." But casualty numbers changed the public mood. For every human ship damaged, 6 alien vessels were destroyed. The underdog narrative gripped the imagination of billions. Humanity wasn't just surviving, they were winning. Dr. Bennett made a crucial discovery in the captured alien technology. "My team has cracked their communication protocols. I'm accessing Velothi leadership channels. Ryan, they're calling for help. They're reaching out to every species in the council." "Let them," General Brooks responded. "The more they bring, the more we'll defeat. Show them what human innovation looks like." The second phase of the battle saw human tactics evolve mid-conflict. Captain Morgan noticed alien ships avoided areas where human vessels had detonated torpedoes. They're afraid of their own debris. It damages their shields. A new strategy emerged. Human ships began self-destructing in calculated patterns, creating kinetic minefields. Alien vessels, built for elegant combat between honorable species, couldn't comprehend fighting an enemy willing to destroy themselves for tactical advantage. Fighter pilot Ashley Rodriguez developed the suicide run maneuver. She would charge at full speed toward enemy ships, detonate a spread of warheads at point-blank range, then use the blast wave to escape. Her squadron adopted the tactic enthusiastically. The Velothi Admiral Skendar watched his fleet dissolve. Around him, they don't fight wars, they fight extinction events. Every maneuver assumes total destruction is acceptable collateral damage. On the 18th hour of battle, the quarantine barrier flickered and failed. Human engineers working from captured Velothi data had found its power source and shut it down. Earth's solar system was open to the galaxy. "Break through!" The announcement rang across all human ships. "The quarantine is down. All ships prepare for interstellar transition." The remaining Velothi and Kryn forces retreated to defensive positions. They had come to enforce a quarantine and found themselves fighting for survival against a species that treated warfare as their natural state. On Earth, celebrations erupted alongside continued protests. Families cheered as sons and daughters became humanity's first interstellar warriors. Others mourned the death of peaceful expansion, the abandonment of diplomatic solutions. Jack Harvey found Senator Thompson at a memorial service for Velothi civilians killed in crossfire. "I saw it from up there," he told her quietly. "They came prepared for a policing action. We came ready for genocide." "And which side is humanity now?" she asked. Before he could answer, new orders arrived. Earth Command declared Operation Breach a success. The fleet would push beyond the solar system. The first target, the Velothi home system. The galaxy's warning had been ignored. The quarantine had failed. Now they would learn what happens when predator species reach the stars. 6 months after breaking the quarantine, humanity spread across the stars like a virus. Earth's shipyards worked day and night, producing cruisers, battleships, and carriers at unprecedented rates. 500 warships now carried humanity's flag to distant worlds. Commander Blake Wilson led Earth's Special Forces Division, the Nighthawks. His team pioneered boarding action tactics against alien vessels. "Remember," he told his squad before each mission, "they design their ships for containment, not intrusion. Use their own safety systems against them." The Andorian Empire joined the Velothi-Kryn alliance, bringing their sophisticated technology to the growing resistance. 3 great galactic powers now stood united against Earth. They met aboard the Kryn flagship Sovereign to coordinate their response. "Humans have taken the Barnard star system," reported Admiral Thenix, studying star charts with his Andorian counterpart. "They've begun building forward bases. Their shipyards are modular. They can establish military production anywhere." Krelthax examined combat recordings. "Notice their command structure. No central authority. Each ship captain operates independently while maintaining coordinated assault patterns. Our standard tactics of disrupting command centers fail because they have no central command to disrupt." The Allies developed a new strategy, the containment sphere. By surrounding human-occupied systems with overwhelming force, they hoped to strangle Earth's expansion. 3,000 Allied ships moved into position, creating a barrier 10 light-years in radius. But Earth's military had evolved rapidly. General Michelle Torres commanded the human response from Kepler 186f, humanity's first exoplanet colony. "They think in terms of defense. We think in terms of opportunity." Torres implemented predator pack tactics. Small groups of human ships hunted, isolated alien patrols. They struck shipping lanes between Allied systems. Instead of defending positions, humans made the entire region a battlefield where no alien could feel safe. The Battle of Rigel 7 marked the turning point. The Zethi Confederation, minor players in galactic politics, chose this moment to join the anti-human coalition. Their crystalline battle stations were legendary for their defensive capabilities. Lieutenant Ashley Rodriguez piloted the experimental fighter Reaper 1. Her mission: test human ability to penetrate impenetrable defenses. She approached the massive station using micro-jumps appearing for microseconds before vanishing again. "Target acquisition locked," she reported, beginning harassment runs. For 6 hours, Rodriguez and her wingmen appeared at random points around the station. They fired single torpedoes for shield activation, then vanished before return fire. The Zeti grew frustrated, their perfect defenses turned into paranoia traps. "They're firing at shadows now," Rodriguez noted with satisfaction. "Their own shields are overheating from constant activation, requesting permission for final assault." The Reaper squadron materialized inside the station's shield perimeter. In the moments before detection, they dumped their entire payload. Nuclear warheads designed for close-quarters combat transformed the interior of the Zeti fortress into a tomb. Rigel 7 confirmed destroyed. The message reached Earth. Zeti Confederation requests peace negotiations. But Earth's leadership had learned from alien mistakes. President Susan Carter addressed the Galactic Council through commandeered alien relay systems. "Negotiation requires equality. You offered us choices between isolation and extinction. We choose a third option: dominance." Human colonies sprouted on TRAPPIST-1E and other habitable worlds. Torres implemented controversial terraforming methods using asteroid impacts and atmospheric processors. The process was faster than alien techniques but devastated local ecosystems permanently. Climate scientist Dr. Peter Williams protested from prison. He'd been arrested for revealing Earth's military expansion plans to alien sympathizers. "We're not colonizing. We're conquering. Every world we touch loses its original character forever." The war expanded exponentially. Human ships penetrated deeper into galactic space, their AI systems learning from each encounter. They captured alien technology and reverse-engineered improvements within months. What took other species decades to develop, humans implemented. In weeks, Commander Wilson's Nighthawks infiltrated the Kryn Republic's central data network. His team didn't just steal military secrets. They planted viral programs that slowly corrupted all allied military systems. Ships began experiencing random navigation failures. Weapon targeting systems developed mysterious glitches. "The psychological impact exceeds the tactical advantage," Wilson reported. "When their own technology becomes unreliable, paranoia spreads faster than our fleets." On Earth, the mood shifted between triumph and unease. Families celebrated victories while questioning the cost. Lisa Thompson continued her protests, now joined by veterans who'd seen the war's brutality firsthand. Jack Harvey, now a decorated ace pilot, spoke at one of her rallies unexpectedly. "I've killed thousands," he admitted to the stunned crowd. "Ships full of beings who never wanted to fight us. They were afraid of what we might become. Every day I prove them right." The galactic powers attempted their own desperate innovation. They created the Unity Protocol, combining their diverse technologies into hybrid battleships. These vessels should have been superior to anything humanity could field. They weren't. At the Battle of Ross 248, 20 Alliance Unity ships faced 50 human vessels. The humans demonstrated perfect coordination, creating overlapping fields of fire that even advanced alien shields couldn't handle. They used debris from destroyed ships as kinetic weapons. They detonated their own wounded vessels to maximum tactical effect. Admiral Skendar, now commanding what remained of the Velothi fleet, watched in horror as human tactics became ever more ruthless. "They've created a military doctrine based on acceptable losses. They'll sacrifice 10 ships to destroy one of ours because they build faster than we can repair." The breakthrough weapon came from human innovation, the gravity pulse drive. By manipulating localized gravity fields, human ships achieved speeds that made traditional navigation meaningless. They could appear anywhere in a system instantaneously. Torres authorized the first strike using the new technology. Target: the Zeti homeworld defense grid. Objective: demonstrate that nowhere is safe from Earth's reach. The attack lasted 11 minutes. 100 human ships materialized within the Zethi system, already firing on military targets. They destroyed defense platforms, orbital factories, and military shipyards before vanishing again. Not a single alien ship managed to engage them. The message was received by every species in the galaxy. Earth didn't just fight wars. They fought to dominate. They fought to win so thoroughly that resistance became meaningless. As the Galactic Alliance prepared for a final desperate stand, human expansion continued without pause. Each new system added resources, population, and military infrastructure to Earth's growing empire. The predators had left their cage, and the galaxy was learning to fear them as the ancient Martian records had predicted. In the dark spaces between stars, alien refugees fled their homeworlds. They carried stories of human warfare. Stories that would become nightmares for generations to come. The galaxy's last warning about Earth had indeed arrived too late. Now they would all pay the price. 5 years after the quarantine's collapse, the galaxy lay in ruins. Earth's war machine had proven unstoppable. 6,000 human warships filled the space lanes, their black hulls marked with kill tallies and planetary conquest records. Supreme. Commander Daniel Harris stood on the bridge of the flagship United Earth Sovereign, watching the bombardment of Andor Prime. The capital world of the Andorian Empire burned beneath layers of kinetic strikes and atmospheric disruption weapons. "Sir, the Andorian Council signals surrender," reported his second-in-command. "They accept all terms." Harris nodded. "Tell them they should have thought of that 5 years ago. Prepare the occupation forces." On Velati Prime, Ambassador Krelthax observed the final battle through his office window. The once peaceful traders who had first warned Earth now faced extinction. Their liquid metal cities dissolved under human plasma bombardment. Krelthax's form quivered with age and resignation. "Elder Vexen, we should have offered them alliance instead of quarantine," he whispered to his old friend beside him. "We created the monster we feared." A human transport landed in the devastated plaza outside. Ground troops emerged, their armor painted with skulls and crossed bones. The psychological warfare that had begun subtly now dominated every aspect of human military presentation. Earth's colonies expanded to 50 systems. Each world underwent rapid terraforming, its environment transformed to human specifications, in months rather than centuries. Native life forms, when they existed, were either archived or eliminated efficiently. In the captured Galactic Council chamber, President Susan Carter addressed the remnants of civilized society. Screens showed her broadcast across 100 worlds translated into 1,000 languages. "The old order is dead," she declared. "An order built on fear of change, fear of competition, fear of adaptation. We bring a new paradigm. The strong survive, the innovative prosper, and the stagnant perish." In Earth's hidden research facilities, Dr. Rachel Bennett supervised Project Ascension. Using captured alien biotechnology combined with human genetic manipulation, they enhanced human capabilities further. Reaction speeds doubled. Problem-solving capacity expanded. Physical strength increased dramatically. "We're moving beyond human baseline," she reported to the Oversight Committee. "In another generation, our species will be unrecognizable to our ancestors." "Perfect," replied the committee chair. "The galaxy fears us now. Wait until they see what we become next." The last organized resistance gathered at the Kryn Republic's final fortress world, Thalon. 200 allied ships prepared for a final stand against Harris's advancing fleet. Admiral Thenix knew it was hopeless, but honor demanded they try. "For all free species," he broadcast on open channels, "we make our stand here. May whatever comes after remember there were those who would not submit." The battle lasted 3 hours. Human tactics had evolved to pure efficiency. No dramatic maneuvers, no wasted motion. They used mathematical precision to calculate minimum force required for maximum destruction. When Thalon fell, the Galactic Alliance finally acknowledged reality. Alien refugees crowded Earth's registration centers. The processing system was bureaucratic but fair, by human standards. Refugees received food, shelter, and medical care. In exchange, they surrendered all rights to military technology, political representation, and population expansion. Jack Harvey, now promoted to captain, supervised one such center. His fighter pilot edge had been ground down by years of one-sided combat. "Get in line," he told a group of Zethi survivors. "Belongings check and DNA registration. You'll be assigned to protected zones." Protected zones. Reservations. By another name. Beautiful areas on human worlds where protected species could preserve their cultures under Earth Authority supervision. The Council species, once the galaxy's rulers, became museum exhibits of galactic history. On Mars, the ancient monitoring facility was converted into the Galactic Museum. Tourists from Earth came to see relics of the civilizations that had tried to contain them. Guides explained how other species' evolutionary paths had avoided humanity's predatory development. "Notice the preserved Valathi art," guides would say. "A species that evolved cooperation over competition. They lasted 10,000 years, until they met us." Military parades on Earth celebrated heroes of the conquest. Admiral Walsh, Dr. Bennett, General Torres, Captain Morgan, their names joined. Human history alongside Napoleon and Patton. Children played war games where being assigned alien was considered punishment. President Carter's final executive order established the Galactic Protection Doctrine. "Humanity accepts responsibility for the galaxy's security," it read. "No species shall advance beyond Earth-approved technology levels. No military capability shall exceed Earth specifications. No political system shall operate without Earth Council members." Underground resistance movements formed on occupied worlds. They used tactics learned by studying human history: guerrilla warfare, cyber attacks, terrorism. But human forces had prepared for this too. Counterinsurgency protocols developed during Earth's own conflicts proved devastatingly effective. Commander Blake Wilson, now the Director of Galactic Security, presented quarterly reports on management of restless populations. Economic incentives combined with military demonstrations kept most resistance limited to symbolic acts. "Let them remember who they were," Wilson advised his officers. "Just make sure they never forget who rules now." Under human administration, galactic civilization achieved unprecedented stability. No wars between species, no resource conflicts, no existential threats. The cost was the slow death of innovation, cultural exchange, and independent thought outside human control. Archaeological expeditions to other abandoned monitoring stations revealed Earth had been watched by multiple ancient civilizations. All had reached the same conclusion. Humanity was unique in the galaxy, possibly in the universe. All had chosen containment over extinction. All had failed to act soon enough. 10 years after first contact, Earth's empire stretched across 300 systems. Human population had expanded to 10 billion spread across 50 worlds. Alien species under protection numbered in the hundreds, their populations carefully managed and their cultures slowly assimilated. In classified briefings, Dr. Bennett presented her final discovery from alien archives. Every species that reached our level of technology faced the same evolutionary decision. They chose to limit their predatory nature. We chose to enhance it, and that's why we won, Harris replied. They evolved past their strengths. We evolved into them. The epilogue to galactic civilization was written in human language. History courses taught children about the Quarantine War, Earth's great triumph, over alien arrogance. They learned that humanity had carried the burden of galaxy-wide responsibility because no other species was strong enough. Somewhere in the outer rim, a probe from an unknown civilization detected Earth's expansion. Its message back to its builders was simple. Predator species confirmed active. Maintain maximum distance. Avoid contact at all costs. The galaxy, once diverse and vibrant with countless civilizations, had been unified under human rule. The warning had come too late. The Guardians had fallen. And in the endless black of space, humanity continued to spread because that's what predators do. They expand until nothing can stop them. The old fears had become reality. Earth had proven every warning correct, and in proving them right, humanity had earned its place as the galaxy's apex species. The stars belonged to the predator now,